Okay, well, you're finally here. You've put in so much time and work. How prepared do you feel for the start of the season?
I think we feel real prepared, honestly. We came in every single day this summer. I'm pretty sure we had about 95% of the team here this summer. Uh, that was at workouts every single day. So I think that honed in a huge part of us being ready and prepared for this upcoming game, and then just us competing with each other every single day at practice throughout camp does that too as well.
And it's always a little bit different when you're game planning defensively week one, just because you had an idea. The same coaching staff is back, but there's no film on them this year. So if there was a dramatic change in terms of what they like to do schematically, you won't have anything to go back on. So how does that change how you guys have prepared for them? What you think that they're going to do, but obviously you'll have to be ready to make some in-game adjustments as well, depending on what they throw at you.
Well, as far as in game changes, that's just us staying calm and collected employees. We communicate with each other, communicate with the coaches on what we see. Like you said, it's the same coaching staff, so we're probably going to see the same plays they ran towards the end of the season. That's what we mostly watched or what they played when we played them, which was the end of the season. We just stay true to that, stay true to the game plan, and then I just feel like everything will work out fine.
Kind of following up with what Blake just said, early in the season, there's no film to go off of from this year. So is early on more so just kind of focusing on what you guys do well and your strengths?
I would say so. Just as far as defense, just executing your assignment and run to the ball as easy as it gets, especially in these early games. Just trust what you seen on film, of what they showed, what we go throughout the week, and just run to the ball.
And I guess, practice versus game, do you feel like you guys defensively are ready for game action?
Absolutely, I think we'll be fine. Like I said, we compete in practice every single day. We went live a few times, and then just giving full effort every single play puts us in this type of situation. So.
Thank you. Glenn.
Yeah, I'm curious, pregame speech wise, is Coach Higgins giving a pregame speech to hype you guys up? Is that somebody else in the locker room, or maybe there's not one needed? What's usually the go-to there?
I feel like, in my personal opinion, I feel like we don't need a pregame speech, considering it's week one. I feel like if you're not ready to go, then you're not ready to play. So I feel like a hype speech ain't really necessary, especially since our first game is going to be at home in front of our friends and family. I think that's enough hype as we need.
Is there a moment specifically that you're looking forward to, where that's, hitting somebody for the first time, or seeing the first touchdown, or
Nah, I'm just only moment I'm looking forward to is just winning. Watch our offense score a bunch of points, defense, dominate. That's what I'm looking forward to. No Pacific play, just winning, honestly.
yeah. Last one for me. What would you say is the biggest difference between this year's team and last year's team, whether that's personnel-wise or schematic-wise or even just like mindset-wise?
Honestly, I wouldn't say there's a huge difference between this team and last year's team. Obviously, we kind of did lose a bunch of key players, but we also had a bunch of players step up to fill those roles, in my personal opinion. So I feel like there's really not much of a difference. We just more hungrier this year, I would say.
Sweet. Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
I'm good. All right, Chris, thank you, man.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Appreciate
sir.
you guys.
Probably gotten this question quite a few times. I'm going to try to spin it a little bit differently. Been here so long. Last time doing this, last time doing that. How do you kind of try in your mind, at least, to kind of separate between wanting to enjoy it, understanding it that it's the last time, and getting all that, but at the same time, I know you've got really high hopes and expectations for what you want to accomplish this year.
Right.
So how do you try to kind of live in both worlds if that's possible?
I really think it's just, coming to work every single day and, preparing the right way, not taking anything for granted, watch more film if you need to, don't just, hey, I've played this team, or, hey, I know what they did last year type deal, because you never know, anything can happen. So, you just really try to prepare the right way, stay focused, stay in the moment, and just really focus on that. Haven't been trying to think, past it. I do know it is, my last first game, so, I do know that, but, really just, still prepare the right way and come to work every day.
And Coach Higgins has said, at least while he's been the coach at Emporia State, typically the teams that play the best are the ones that maybe have not been thought much of coming into the season, ones that have a chip on their shoulder. What do you guys think about that in terms of trying to keep that chip on the shoulder mentality on this team, or trying to buzz through and just, own the favorite mantle and, being a top 3 team, top 25 team, but making sure that you still have that edge?
Yeah, definitely we have a target on our back. You're kind of in the top 3 of the league, so you're definitely gonna have a target on your back each week. But I feel like what you said with the chip on our shoulder, like that is our identity, that's our culture here, that's what this place has been built on. So that's not going to change. So whether we're 8th, 3rd, what doesn't matter. We're always going to have that chip on our shoulder. We're always going to come out and compete. It's all about that game going 1-0 each week and ain't looking forward and no looking back. So just staying in the moment and just play with that chip on our shoulder and just play our way.
Braden, you're going to have some new different kind of receiving corps this year. How have maybe some of the younger guys looked in camp, and how do you feel maybe they prepared to handle that role this year?
Definitely, had a good summer with them, had a good fall camp with them. I still think we just all around as an offense have room to grow. We can definitely be better, definitely, just got things to work on. But, it's definitely going to come. I trust those guys. I got their back, they got mine type deals. So, I'm not really worried about that or anything. Like, I trust them to do the right things and trust them to be in the right spots. So, it's just still about playing our brand of football and running our offense the right way and execute.
And I guess at what point during the summer do you guys feel, okay, game day is coming, we're ready to kind of get into the game offensively?
All summer we're doing, our own things, whether it's, concepts, just throwing, getting timing down with your receivers, talking about things, that we saw from last year, or, hey, this is what this team did to us, so maybe let's practice this type of look. Just working on different things and trying to be prepared for everything that can be thrown at us. So I don't think there's any specific point in the summer that happens, but I just think as you continue to work and the closer you get, the more comfortable you feel with it.
When you're playing a team early on in the season, there's no film to go off of, so do you kind of look back at what Lincoln did to you guys last year?
Yeah, you watch some. They got the same staff, so you definitely watch, what they did last year to you and, things like that. But you also got to be prepared for anything. They might come out in a different front, a different, coverage than they did last year. So, that's where it goes back to, running our offense, doing our rules. We got rules for, things like that. So, just running our offense at a high level and execute, that's really what's going to take care of it.
Glenn.
Hey, Braden, I'm curious. You had some games last year where the stats were, the numbers you put up were crazy. Is there a moment within a game where you maybe realize, oh, I'm hot right now, I'm hitting right now, or is that kind of like you're just locked in, you don't really think about it this next drive?
Yeah, I really don't think about that stuff. I hardly even, pull up the stats from each games or anything like that. I just focus on, what's going on. Just going out there and execute the offense at a high level. That's what matters to me. Winning football games matters to me. So if it doesn't have a W at the end of it, that's really all I'm worried about.
And then quarterback is a spot where leadership is expected. Are you a pregame speech guy? Is there a message delivered to the guys before the game, or you just kind of let everybody do that?
I'm not a big rah-rah speech guy. I definitely think, I say things when they need to be said or in the right time, but, I'm not a big speech guy, but, definitely there's always some guys who have some good speeches. Coach Higg always gives a good one or whatever, but, first game, if you need a speech, like Chris Pope said, if you need a speech, then you ain't ready to play, so.
Yeah, for sure. Correct if I'm wrong, there was a couple guys that you have been throwing the ball to for several years, right? Is that a weird adjustment to all of a sudden not have one or two of those guys anymore?
Definitely a little bit early on, like in the spring, kind of. You're just, like with Corey and Dex and Will and, Cole Schumacher, and then like those guys, like, you throw to those guys for 4 or 5 years every day, and, you kind of know what they're going to do and how they run routes and things like that. So it was kind of adjustment in the spring, just, figuring out how guys run the routes, the speed and things like that. But, that just goes back to, putting the work in, throwing with those guys every day in the summer, in the spring, fall camp. So, definitely now I'm very comfortable with them and feel really good about it. I think it's just going to be, kind of expect the unexpected, and, they're going to fly around. It's first game for them too, so, they're going to be, coming out hot and ready to play football too, just like us. So, I think we just got to come out and execute our offense and play our way, use our tempo and, just do what we do.
Thanks, Braden. Good luck on Thursday.
Thank you.
Yeah, I got one. So from the front five last year with the offensive line, you lost obviously 3 big players with X
Yep.
and Connor. With the new front five coming in with these new players, how have they grown into this leadership role from your perspective, and how is your chemistry built with them?
Yeah, I think they've definitely grown a lot because, it is really hard to replace guys like Connor, Hayden, and X. All those guys played a lot of football, played in a lot of big games, seen a lot of things. So, there's some guys who got to, take it upon themselves to, hey, Connor's not making the call here. I got to make the call, or, let them know, communicate with each other rather, relying on 1 or 2 guys just because, they're older. So they've definitely, taken a big step in that direction in a good way. And, the chemistry with them is, they definitely do everything they can to protect me, and I'm going to do everything I can to have their back and go make plays. They don't always get talked about, but it always starts up front. So whether you're running the ball, throwing the ball, it doesn't matter. It starts up front. So those guys are a huge part of our success, and I'm just really looking forward to the year with them.
All right. Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Nice job.
Thank you.
We've talked several times about the anticipation that everybody's talked to me about the community and the school. I'm sure that you have anticipation for every single year, whether you think you're going to be good, or the media picture to be good, or if it's going to be a rebuilding year, or the league doesn't vote you as high. What's your anticipation like for this season? And I'm sure that you anticipate every year, so maybe how is the anticipation for this season different than some other years or last year?
I don't think it's different. I mean, I was just on the way here to do this interview. I was just thinking about game day duties for all our coaches, and who's setting the headsets up and getting the game balls after the game. All right, that's vitally important. Make sure we don't lose any. All right, just things like that. So it hasn't changed. I mean, my anticipation, my anxiety level. Once you get that first game over with, to me, it's a lot easier. But I feel like you always gotta. I've been doing this for a long time. With the coaches, and sometimes I just forget, hey, everything that everybody's got to do after the game. The thing about it is now we got so much help. Man, I mean, we haven't ever had this before. So, but my anticipation of first game it doesn't change. I want to make sure we play well, play the right way. I think you always worry about, and I'm probably answering a question maybe somebody was going to ask on down the line, but you just always want to make sure you secure the football. Be prepared for everything. Be disciplined, play disciplined football, things like that. Play a clean game.
And then just in terms of being able to welcome the community, we've talked a little bit about this at Monday Night Football, Booster Night, but just welcoming the community back. And, you guys, you yourself personally, your team, young men on your team, and just the whole tradition, it's a big part of what makes Emporia great for a lot of people. How important is that in your mind? To be, a kind of a tradition for every fall that people look forward to, coming out and watching Coach Higgins and meeting a new swarm of Hornets.
Yeah, I think that's it's vitally important. I think it speaks volumes of the importance of football, and I think it speaks volumes of just getting this football program where it's at. Because you want people in the community to be excited about football. You want the student body, the faculty, staff, donors, alumni to be excited about football and it getting started. And usually you're excited about that if you have a winning product that you put out on the field. So those are the things and it means a great deal to me because I'm a product of this university and, played on that field, didn't throw a lot of touchdown passes or score a lot of touchdowns, but but this university is special to me. So, yeah, it means a great deal to me.
Coach, I have to ask, is this when the earmuffs and blinders go on?
Do what now?
Is this when the earmuffs and blinders go on when the season starts?
Earmuffs and blinders. Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right. And I haven't talked about that much, but I am going to bring it up now that you said that. All right. I always tell my coaches, hey, make sure that you guys remind me of anything that I'm forgetting. And just like somebody today said, don't forget to tell the players they got to wear slacks to pregame meal. I'm like, that's right. Usually I tell them that about 2 weeks in advance so we can make sure everybody's getting their slacks. So, John, appreciate that. We're going to go with earmuffs and blinders. Talk about it today.
So I guess, and then, when you go into the season, I guess, from your perspective, when, you're trying to see if everyone's game ready, is there a certain point in the summer you feel maybe players are ready to get into game action, or is it going to take a couple weeks to work into that?
Well, I think what you look at in the summer to me is the commitment from the players and the team. And because everything is voluntary, so if you have a good number, which we did, then that shows me they're committed and they're going to be ready to play. Because think about this, they've invested so much time into their preparation over the summertime that they should be ready to play for play in the first game for the season. So, and it is always exciting, that first game, because I always feel like as a coach, I don't care who the opponent is. I'm not going to go in there and give a Newt Rockne speech because it's the first game. This is what we have worked forward to start the season, from spring football to summertime. And, again, players have invested a lot of time, so it's time to go out and get paid on Thursday night is the way I look at it.
And, how do you prepare when you look at Lincoln? There's no film for this year. Do you look last year, or how do you kind of prepare maybe week one?
Yeah, I think there's two sides of that. I think they got to think the same thing about us. Every time you go into a first game, and either you're going to be playing an opponent that has a brand new coaching staff, which Lincoln does not. I'm pretty sure they got all their coaches back from last year. Second thing is, if you are playing somebody that has a different staff, you got to go by previous year's film, which we'll watch Lincoln last year, of course. But you always got to be prepared. I think the second thing to the question, or the second part of my answer would also be, we got to make sure that we execute our offense. We feel like that if we're doing what we need to do offensively, that regardless of how somebody is playing us, whether that's front-wise or in the secondary, that if our guys go by their rules and our system that we have offensively and defensively, that we will be able to adjust, and we should be able to be okay if we execute, protect the football, and play clean.
Glenn.
Hey, Coach, a couple games last year, probably more than a couple.
Glenn, I can't see you, man.
I can turn it on. Hold on.
Oh, there you are. All right, good.
I was about living room, but Braden put up some crazy numbers last year. I know you're locked in during the game. Were there ever any moments where you kind of say to yourself, man, he's cooking right now, or this guy's head on fire?
There are moments like that. There are also moments where the play begins, and I'm like, God, I don't think that's a very good play call, and he makes the play a good call. Like I've noticed that in the game, where I'm kind of like, man, I wish I would not have called this. Like I see a certain defense that they're in, and I think it's not going to work, or we might lose yardage, and he makes a play. He makes a throw and keeps the play alive, and that's where, you do say, hey, he's cooking right now. And I think for us, the way we play with our tempo, if we do get in a rhythm, and not only for Braden, I think our other players begin to play at a high level when we can have success with our drive starters. On first down is really important for us, as being a no huddle team, is to get positive yards on first down, so we can kind of get in a rhythm.
And then you guys had a few guys that were catching passes for you the last several years. Corey Thomas comes to mind. Is it going to be weird for you to not see a guy like him and a few of those other guys out there?
No question. We're going to miss Corey, and he was a difference maker for us. And then I look at not only Corey Thomas, but Dex Swinehart and Will Amos. Both those guys, all three of those were 5-year, 6-year. I mean, Corey was a 6-year senior. I think Dex was. I think Will was 5 years here. Oh, and then you throw in Cole Schumacher. I got to quit forgetting him. He coaches for me on my staff. He's going to be mad at me. But those 4 guys right there, along with, and again, like I said, Corey, I can tell a difference. Like, we have Jalen Varner and Tyler Common back, and those guys are doing a great job. But, you look at, and I think Zion Jones is doing a good job too, and he should step into that role of where Corey was last year. But after that, now we got some depth. We got some guys going to step up. I mean, the thing about those guys I just mentioned, they knew our offense. They could go on the board and teach our offense to a freshman and give them coaching pointers from a wide receiver standpoint, because we give our wide receivers a lot of freedom in what they do, whether break in, out, go vertical, set down, whatever that might be. And those guys were veterans at it. And that's what I've noticed that we're missing going into this year. And I mean, and that just has to it's not a player's fault. It's just we have young players that are behind him. Now we have some talented guys, talented players, but they don't know the offense like those guys did.
And then last one for me, you touched on it a little bit, but you kind of said maybe the rah-rah speeches needed week 1. The guys started to be fired up enough. What is your message to the team, if anything, kind of pregame for this one?
Yeah, play the right way. Play with the hornet edge, play clean, play fast and through the whistle, have mental and physical toughness. And what I mean by that, it's, getting stops on short yardage and, keeping somebody from scoring inside the 10, all that. But really, mental toughness, too, gets down to the fact that adversity is going to hit at some point during the evening, and we got to be able to handle it like grown men and like veterans. And those are the things that my message is going to be. And, protecting the football, play at a high level, play the way that we're supposed to play, and execute. And everything else should take care of itself. If we don't, then, it's going to be a long night, or it's going to be a very discouraging, disappointing night. Last year we go and play Lincoln. This final score is 35-24. And I don't care who we got the next week. Doesn't matter. All right, we got to focus in on what we got this week, and again, that's going to be my message. I'm already practicing it right now since you asked me, So, but that's going to be the message to the team.
Great. Thanks, Coach. Good luck this week.
Thank you. Good seeing you.
You already touched on it a little bit, but who are some guys that come to mind, both either on defense or offense, that have come into that leadership role that we might not expect as sort of the element?
Well, you know who our captains are. You have Rafe and Declan and Jordan Williams. I think Chance Rodriguez. A matter of fact, I can't say enough good things about Chance. He doesn't talk much, but he's starting to. And again, another player that's been here for 6 years that has a journey and where he didn't play very much at all his first 3 to 4 years at all. He was down there on scout team, and now is, to me, a difference maker for us at linebacker. And I think just his play in general shows up each and every day, and how he practices that's someone that is emerging as a leader. And I think if he becomes more vocal, he can definitely become more of a leader. I think, offensively, I'm going to look at Sherman Deaton, an offensive lineman. Again, been a off and on 2-year starter for us, and he's just matured, and he played for us as a freshman, and I think he's somebody that has done a good job in leadership. Dante Smith-Posey, another offensive lineman. Those guys come to mind right now. As far as that. And I think Jack Petts, I look at Jack Petts as a guy that he doesn't start for us at tailback. He's not on the 2 deep, but he's going to be a special teams superstar for us, and he's going to take pride in it. You've heard Jack talk in interviews before about how important this program is to him, and those are the type of guys we want, because they may not be the superstar, but they know whatever their role is, they are going to be a superstar.
Good. All right.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Coach. Thank you.
All right, that's easy.